right, we done went live now. Let's see what it do, what it do. Child support. Had to go. She went down there and she put me on child support. And I'm like, still, it's one of the most insanest things I've ever heard in my life. How in the world can you complain about a baby that you made? How in the world can you even fix your mouth to say she put me on child support when you shouldn't even be going down that road in the first place? How irresponsible. How irresponsible is that? Huh? I mean, it took both of y'all. But now all of a sudden my wife. How can you possibly be mad because you have to pay child support? I mean, who in their right mind does that make sense to? I'm just trying to figure it out. Nobody told you to lay down with this individual. Nobody told you to lay down with him. You laying down with the person. Now the person that came up and they pregnant after this experience, and you think she's done something wrong to you because you won't help her take care of this child, and she went downtown and told these people so she could get some assistance, probably some food stamps so she could eat. Now, I have never in my life heard any white dude on any program talking about, and then she went down and put me on child support. Why is that? Why shows? Shout out to Lauren Lake, Lauren London. Child support. So that's a black thing. And it is a black thing that is so trifling, that is behavior that's straight off the plantation. And this is the kind of stuff we don't want to talk about. See, because we can't blame white people for this behavior. Penis go to vagina, baby come. It's gonna turn on, regardless of whether I'm white or black, as long as I pay the electric bill. Correct? All right. So it's the same thing if you choose to have unprotected sex. You choose to have unprotected sex, there's a possibility that you and the person that you laying down with can create a child. And you know this. Then you got this real pop, like fake swag about making children that don't have two parents that they can count on. That's your swag. Your swag is just like a male dog when he goes to every fire hydrant that he sees and he lifts his leg up and he pees on the fire hydrant. He go to the next fire hydrant. He lift his leg up and he piss on that. Then he go to another fire hydrant, lift his leg up and piss on that one. And he keep going pissing on all the fire hydrants. And that pretty much is his behavior. And that's the kind of behavior that we have in our community. Brothers that go and water all these sisters' plants and then got the nerve to start crying, talking about somebody, she put me on child support. What? Only in black culture, black American culture. We don't even care about our own pyramid. Somebody got to force us to take care of this. We do. We let our children be like tumbleweeds. We don't care. We don't care about it whatsoever. And then we get mad when we got this behavior and then other people talk about us, the dominant society. We get mad because when they look at us as black women, they see all we are as they see us as, sexual things. Okay, so who created this mindset? We help perpetuate it. We help create it. And then we get mad because, to be honest with you, American culture is black culture, if you really think about it. Okay? But what I'm trying to point out is we do this to the behavior that we have that is so reminiscent of the slave. We don't think about the same thing, behaviors that we are doing right now is that were taught to us. I still am waiting. Matter of fact, I'm gonna open up the damn phone line if that's the case. What is the phone line? The phone line is area code 414. Oh man, I don't know what the phone number because this ain't it. I really want to know what people got to say about it. I really want to know what the brothers got to say about they sorry asses don't want to take care of their own children. Somebody got to beg you to take care of your children. And how in the world can you get mad? And why do you get mad? That's the question of the day. Matter of fact, that's the $1 million question right there. Why do you get mad to get some assistance to take care of a child that you won't help her support? I ain't never seen nothing like it. You're angry with her because she went downtown, asked the people for help. And you ain't gonna never be able to answer it. You know why? Because you're the only ones that do it. Okay? And it's mistreatment. The same way the white man mistreat us. The same way we complaining about the white man mistreat us is how y'all mistreat black women when it comes to procreation. How in the world can you push a seed out and have to have somebody tell you take care of it? Nobody can answer that question. And what is she supposed to do when you procreate and you make a child and you won't help her take care of it? What is she supposed to do? Or worse yet, you feel because you got a couple dollars, and do you actually think that those children are not affected by the behavior that you got on their mothers? Do you actually think that those children are going to grow up nice? And now I could have some stories on some people that could tell you how it was. See, I'm not saying this is a new phenomenon. I'm not saying that it's something new. But, everything should be done in some kind of decency and in order, right? So you proud that you'd have made 50 kids on the same block and got all these women fighting because they haven't been taught their worth. So they finding their worth in thinking that you like them, and you done told them all the same story about how they the finest, and they're so gullible, and you know that. So you've taken advantage of them because usually most of the time the guys are so much older than the girl anyway. But I'm not gonna forget about the sisters because they're not innocent always in this. My point I'm trying to make, brothers, y'all, she's taking me on child support. If I hear that come out of another black man's mouth, you ought to be cussed out. I mean, because if you have to be reminded and you get angry because you won't take care of your child, you the sorriest sack of crap that ever existed. You really are. And when I look at most of us in this community, that's what I see. Most of us need a hug. We need a hug. We need a hug. We are so damaged. We don't understand the damage that and the pain and the trauma that we just keep passing on, passing on, passing on. And we act like it ain't nothing. Tell me, yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, but that ain't supposed to be how it's done. And why don't I ever hear white guys complaining about paying child support? Why? Why is it always the black guys? So I've always been taught that God made men and women and the white man made Negroes. So how come you can't figure out a way to take care of your child? How come? Why you can't figure out a way to take care of your kid or your children? There's no excuse. And you know it ain't that. You know it ain't no excuse for it. You know it. I'm waiting for the time I hear the white guy say, she called child support on me. I'm, I'm still waiting. It's a black thing. It really is. It's a black thing. And a lot of black men don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And I'm saying that I'm on your side. And I'm saying that to be saying that that is such plantation, sick, defeated behavior that it's like Michael Jackson said, if you can't have a baby, if you can't care for your baby, don't have a baby. And that's an easy concept. And if you want to have sex, you can't have a baby because you're committed. The kid didn't ask to be here. And nobody should have to beg you to take care of what came up out of your body. That's the ultimate sorriness now. Ultimate. Somebody that way by telling them and threatening them like they doing the wrong thing if they ask for support, then that's messed up. Yeah, Marianne, I'm not saying that this doesn't happen. It said maybe it happens more in the black community, but that definitely happens in the white. I'm sure it does. I know it does. It happens anywhere you got man and woman, first of all. Okay. What I'm saying is, I don't hear white men as much as I hear black men. And if you're a white woman, then I don't know if you can bear witness to this, Marianne. White men being so angry and wanting to beat up a woman because she put him on child support. I just never heard that. So now if I'm wrong and you have, correct me. Okay? I stand to be corrected. I don't have all the answers. But and I know what happens in other communities. I mean, I think one of the guy that owe the most child support is the white guy. Okay, so but that's not what my question was. My comment was, do y'all beat up women? Do y'all kill them? A la, you know, Corey Holcomb says that y'all do, and that every guy does that when he got a woman that he want to get rid of. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Marianne said, no threat of violence if you ask for child support, but it ain't easy to get because they lie. Yeah, that's a shame. Males don't not wanting to take care of their children. I mean, and then the thing about it is when they get grown, then you want to step up and be counted and talk about, how you were there for them, how you love your children. But the sad part about it is when they going through the trenches, most of the time it's the women's and I'm not saying I want to get you straight. I am not saying that women don't have a responsibility, okay, and that they should be cognitive of who they lay down with. Nobody can do anything. You get tricked, you get tricked. Okay, you make a bad choice, you make a bad choice. Okay, and there's narcissists all over the place presenting themselves one way and end up being an entirely different way, right? Not only when it comes to their children, when it comes to how they treat you in a relationship, they become a totally different individual. I'm totally aware of that. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. But let's talk about the ones that's not the situation. And the pandemic, as Marianne just said, the epidemic that makes a man get so crazy that a woman puts him on child support that he is willing to. That's crazy. Or that thinks she's done something to him. I mean, actually done something to him. Care, needs, exceed, and transcend cash. Okay, care, needs, exceed, and transcend cash. Listen here. Live fully, live fully. Um, I would say, yeah, but now that's all the excuse that, and I ain't for it. I'm not for it at all. Because listen, you were made self-sufficient. God made you self-sufficient. You are the king of the universe. And you telling me you can't figure out a way to take care of your child unless somebody help you? You can't figure out no way to get no cash, but you can get a cash for everything else. You can get cash for a pack of cigarettes. You can get cash for alcohol. You can get cash for anything you want to. And when you say care needs exceeds transcends cash, what is your definition of care needs? Your kid home and you sitting up playing video games, but you home with them all day. So you can say, oh, I'm there with my kid 24/7. Because I don't count that, brother or sister. Are you giving anything constructive? When you say care needs, what constructive are you giving to that child? Are you spreading your seeds all across the city that you can't give quality time to your children? And you think that's productive? Because care needs exceed and transcend cash? No, because if you making all them babies, you need to have a way to figure out how to sell some pencils or something, make some dinners, mow some lawns, paint some houses. That's what my dad and them did. My father built houses. See, so I see a lot of brothers that make excuses. They don't want to do nothing but have a woman take care of them. And these women have done it for so long, they think that that's their birthright. Oh, but I'm here to tell you, brother, it ain't. It's not. Not whatsoever. And so what's happening is you taking the hunter out of you. You were not wired and conditioned to lay there like a damn bump on a log. You wasn't even wired that way. Almighty God Allah didn't even wire you that way. I'm sorry for those of y'all who want to get crazy. Sit there like that and let her do all that work while you play games with muscles. She leave and go to work and come home and the garbage is sitting in the same place. I've seen it. I've serviced families like that. And you can't say nothing because it's almost like It's like Marianne said, it's a pandemic. Straight up. It's a pandemic. Now, I realize that there's a lot of women here, generations down, whose mothers was out there really bad. Hey, Queen. Hey, girl. Good to see you. And I know for a fact there's a lot, especially with that crack era, we start talking about, women being out there, giving birth and not basically knowing who their children, were. I see it all the time. And that's why I do it. That's why I like that show, Paternity Court. Right there in Michigan, your girl, Lauren Lake. Because it gets to the heart of the matter, and it goes so much deeper than paternity. How we're so dishonest. Not only are we dishonest with our sexual energy and our sexual loins and all that, we out of order with it, right? So what happens is we tell all these lies, and then years and years later, we have to give an account to the lies we told, the children we produced, and it's a mess. Okay, they're proud of themselves. With we broke up, and I went and I slept with her friend because we broke up, and I'm looking at them like, what? That's your best? I mean, really? That's your best? And then you don't want to take care of your child at all? You know it's yours? Come on, y'all. And we can do better than this. And we gotta stop blaming. Men gotta stop blaming, wanting to control them. Yes, the way the white man, in my opinion, controls us. So when Jamel Hill made that statement, a lot of people got mad. But to me, we're living totally beneath our privilege. And I know that there's a lot of things that this dominant society has put on us, but there's a lot of things that we put on ourselves now. And we're making it hard on ourselves. Listen, I'm not telling you about nothing I read. I got my baby brother, okay? Last time I counted, this is my foster brother. It said kids will care much less about missing a meal compared to missing time with both parents whom they love, regardless of how the parents feel about each other. Nothing exceeds cash. Hi. This young man, I don't know, I think he's maybe on his 11th or 12th child. We're maybe about his 8th baby mama, something like that. I can't hardly read, live fully. I'm trying to, kids will care much less about missing a meal compared to time miss. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Nothing, no, I definitely agree with that. But that's not what's happening here. I wish that is what's happening. What you got is again a lot of behavior. These young men are not spending time with both parents whom they love. In fact, a lot of them ain't spending no time with them till they get 15 or till they get in their 20s, because the dysfunctional family situation. So I agree with you totally. Yes, I do. Live fully, I do. A parent needs both. Needs both parents. that helped create them to feel whole, to feel special. And even if you don't want her no more, and even if you don't want him no more, if you can be a united front for that kid to feel the all and be the best he can be, because that's the only thing you have to really give him is his self-esteem first and foremost. And nothing secures that better than to see two parents that care about you. Nothing. So I'm totally in agreement with that. Yes, I am. But can we say that that's what's happening? I mean, my oldest brothers, one of his sons, I say steel sharper steel. I say my father was around when my older brothers were there. This was an adopted brother, and my father really didn't want any parts of that. And you can tell my parents had been divorced. My older nephews, and they were raised by a man. Steel sharpens steel. See? That is true. I didn't meet my father until I was 16 years old. The first thing he said was, do I want to smoke a joint with him? Yeah. See, those are the kind of things, and that's irregardless of color now, but those are the kind of things that happen all across the board. You meet your kid when he's a teenager, and you tell him, here, I'm your dad. Okay? And you don't think that there's a hole in that child's soul from the emptiness that you left him or her with? Huh? Come on now. And there's a lot of us that have to admit that we've done our families in that way for whatever reason. And that's why I made this statement earlier. I said, can you apologize to your kids? Because when you have done these things and you come a certain age and you have a certain amount of, maybe your mom was a barrier between you and your father. Well, no, I don't know if I would say that. I think both of my parents were a bit narcissistic, but what I'm saying is, you know, when you have children, it's very important that both of the children feel that is the most important thing that you can do. Being a preacher kid, live fully like I was, we had a lot of experiences that, you know, like I said, that to me that were just dogma anyway. Most of the PKs I know, they were one way in church, and then they were, or in a mosque, and then they were another way when they left. Especially if your parent was a minister or something, you always felt like you had something to prove. So I don't know if you could actually call that barrier a parent. That's a whole different other set of issues. But I think to have your parents present, and even if my mom was a barrier, both of my parents were present. So I did get a chance to have the best of both worlds. I got a chance to see what it looks like to wake up and not just have a pair of pants in a house, but a father that was leading and teaching his children. I mean, every Wednesday we had study. I had a father that was active in my life. And most of the women that I know that had fathers who were active in their lives, they're pretty successful or strong women. So men, you have your place and you have your purpose when you are there with your children. It's unbelievable. The intelligence that is in the sperm as it is in the egg. I mean, when he's creating with a woman and they're actually having a stake in what they're creating, there's no telling what life they can bring forth. Okay. But if you out there just doing this just to be doing it, like I said, you bringing kids in that are like tumbleweeds blowing in the desert. Let's see. Queen said she was just talking about us not learning how to have relationships because we did not see exactly. If we haven't seen, and come on, you guys, most of us have not seen models of healthy relationships. Black, white, I mean, those it's transcend color. But I'm just speaking more specifically to black people because I know not only have we had the other dogma of society on us, we got our own set of dysfunction that was directly associated with slavery. Come on. We never healed from that. Nobody ever went through the pain and the trauma of that stuff and how we were, bred not to take care of children. So then we went through this period where we embraced ourselves, okay? And then we were socially engineered through drugs and alcohol. The same thing, right back there. So what happens? You just making children. You're using sex as an escape. Was your mother verbally, emotionally abusive towards your father, tit for tat? Will harm only children. My parents were abusive towards one another. I don't think it was just my mother for that sake. My parents got married very young. And here's another thing. You got to find a fine balance between that. Because back in the day, I was listening to one of these stars, I don't know who it was, who said she was jealous of the modern women because they shacked up with people. They had a chance to know their mates and stuff before they actually married them. I think it was Elizabeth Taylor. She said she would had no shack up with people like we do today, and and now it's like nothing. I live with somebody, but when I was coming up, it was still a little bit something because who remembers that song, "Shack It Up"? It was a big deal, you know. So I mean, I'm saying that to say my parents got married. I think my mother was 18, my father was 20. Come on, you guys. Their brains were still growing. However, they still was committed to their children. But because of the religious thing, they definitely were going to stay committed to their children. Okay, so by any means necessary. Nowadays, we don't follow too many disciplines. And we feel that being in a free country means that we can do whatever the hell we want to do, even at our children's expense. Right? These are my kids. So tell me, that, this is, like I said, it's a fine line in between there. So live fully. When I look at I can see the downside to, the parents being married very young and stuff like that. But I also see commitment. And I think that's what's missing today. And I think a lot of what guys got mad at Jamel Hill about is because black men seem to want to control black women. And I understand. I get it. It's because they ain't got nothing else to control. And it's like that movie. Everybody gonna dump on somebody. I forgot who said it. The guy comes home, his boss chews him out. He goes home, he chews out his wife. The wife chews out the kid. The kid goes and kick the dog, right? Mm-hmm. See, listen to this. Marianne said, my parents were both very young, still teenagers, and my father admitted he was crazy. And aunt could not be around. And yeah, yeah. Because that brings a set of dynamics too. You got kids trying to be parents, and now they've gotten more research that says your brain grows until you're like, what, 25, 26 years old? So look who's out here having children, but children. And a lot of that has to do with how, um, you know, their responsibility level is. Ain't no excuses when we looking at our offspring and they're so wounded. They're so wounded, you know. And then I see some of these young guys on here now, or like I was saying about my brother, they're making babies just like it's a sport. And they post the babies up on Facebook, and they buy them Jordans, and they put these things, and they think that that's parenting. And then they go over to the next fire hydrant that they done watered. Then they pick that baby up and show it on Facebook. Look at my baby. And a lot of guys think that that's their manhood. How many babies they can make. It was never like that in my generation coming up. That's more plantation behavior. And it really is. And I hate to say it, and I don't care who like it. I got to be unapologetic about that. Because just that little bit right there, that's slave chronicle. I mean, who wants to do that? Who thinks that your life 10 years from now is going to be anything other than messed up if you have 10 children by 10 different women? Then how can you sustain any kind of healthy relationship with those children? Queen Ninja said, and Zinga said, we wonder why we repeat the cycle, going out, creating children, and broke. Come on up in here. Why? Because if we don't heal all these problems that we got, or like you just said, live fully. Let's see, strong women, yes. Many weak women were financially supported by fathers who were not present. My father was very present and he supported me. Now, up until that was a problem in our relationship, because as a Muslim, most men believe, Muslim fathers believe that they should take care of their daughters until they get married. So what if you don't want to believe that that's not what you want to practice, and you don't want to get married? So then it might cause problems in your relationship. And that's what it did with my father and I. But my father was very financial responsible. He bought a house at 20 years old, 21. And I've never lived in any place other than, okay, so young people can't do stuff if they're committed. They might do stupid stuff because they're young. But to whom much is given, much is required. And a lot was required of the people back then. Ain't nothing required of y'all now. Y'all in the generation where you can walk across the stage, know damn well you skipped school every day and got a diploma with an empty thing inside of it, acting like you made the same sacrifices as those other children that didn't skip school. This is the kind of world we living in today. Fakers. Exactly. Commitment is missing. And you're right. You're not committed. I mean, but the people that's supposed to be minding and mending the nut house are doing the same thing. I mean, they're allowing it. So it creates these bad habits, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Yeah. But I'm totally agreeing with Queen here in terms of toxic families. And that's why I did that video about, are you able to talk to your parents? Because if you can't tell your parent something that they might have done or that you disagree with them about when y'all came up, and y'all both are fully adults, and they lose it, start talking crazy or whatever, you probably grew. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. And there's a lot of situations like that where you can't tell your parent just how much of a of an abuser that they were, and you didn't. I mean, even in a respectful way. You got some people that can't. There are some parents that are so toxic that they never give their child any autonomy at all. Okay? And they're so toxic that they think that just because they're the father, the mother's too now. This is how toxic the relationship is. The father never comes around, and she always just calls him when she wants him to discipline the kid. What kind of craziness is that? You don't even come around. You don't give this child, no love, no interaction, no anything. But your job is to come when he's out of here to allow that behavior. I've seen it in my own family. Yep, 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 yep. Is that dysfunctional? Marianne said that is the mentality. There are no rules to follow. They do whatever they want and whatever makes them happy, not caring about consequences of the children. What kind of children do y'all think the result of these kind of relationships grow up? I mean, do you think that they're gonna have healthy relationships? Probably. No. They're gonna learn on the fly or learn the hard way, probably be involved with all kinds of narcissistic, borderline people, codependency, all kinds of uh residue that's from these toxic behaviors. Or a father that you don't know if he loves you because he's got 6 other kids around the corner and he spends more time with them and over their house than he does with you and your mother because he doesn't like her. And usually when the guy doesn't like the mama, he doesn't like the kid. We all know that. We've all seen it, at least. But she's gonna love them all because they all hers. Even though I do see some women are pretty crazy. You look just like your daddy, and then she does things to that kid. I mean, there's just a lot of dysfunction going on that we got to give an account with. So when Jamel Hill made that statement, I think it would do a lot of men a lot of good to get instead of getting mad right away, is to at least examine it. Examine how do they show up with um with women. How do they show up in relationships? You know, because if they're not able to do that, you got gender wars, which we seem to be having a lot of, because nobody want to take damn responsibility for what they putting out. You know, and to learn behavior. It's okay. You didn't create held hostage by the people that raised us. And so whatever crazy dynamic they put in our heads, we probably had to relearn, unlearn, relearn, relearn, you know, some of them did the best they could, some of them didn't. However, whether they did or not, it still was our job to unlearn and redo these things. See, now this is more of my mother right here, Marianne. My mother denies all the damaging things she's done to me and says she does not remember any of it. So it's frustrating. She sounds more like somebody that's not able to fully accept the things that she's done, because when she looks at it, it's hard to look at. That sounds a little bit like my mom right there. You know, she can't deal with it. So you already know you can't get through. That's like nailing Jello to a tree. It's like, what? You like, Mom, I'm just gonna tell you wrong. When you used to make me get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and pour water in the radiator before I could go to school, and I was only 5 years old, while you laid up in the house. I know a girl a woman who actually told me that. Her mom used to make her, because there was no man in the house now. So the mom used to take her to school and used to make her get up when she wakes her up and get her dressed, and she would have to go out there with jugs of water and pour into the car. Oh my God. So she could start the car up and drive her to school. All this before she was 5 years old. So when you got a woman who is very damaged and been mistreated, there are a lot of times where she mistreats the children and she doesn't even know it. She's been overbearing. Now she can't take no more. And now she's just being overbearing to everybody. Yep. And look at the damage that does to the children as well. So you got emptiness because the dad done ran away. Then you got your mother who's resentful of all this kind of stuff that he's left her with all this craziness. And now you got a match made in hell. This is what we live in right now. And I think before we can get all outside and start talking about this other stuff, I think it's imperative that we all begin to start looking at our own stuff. Kind of like what Queen just said. Our families are so toxic. And I believe, and this is just, I don't know if it's just me being a hopeless dreamer, but it seems like if everybody could just start with this toxic stuff that happened in their own families. Mother was teenager, these kids were, and you didn't know your father until you was 25 or whatever. There's a lot of hurt and damage that comes from that, whether you know it or not. And there's a lot of, you have to get in touch with that stuff and clean all that stuff out. The emptiness that you may not even be in touch with. And that's one thing I like about, bring me some water. No, just water. That's one thing I like about what Charlemagne is doing right now. He's talking about our mental health. A lot of people think it's a cop-out, but it's not, y'all. And while we in quarantine, it's probably really gonna benefit us, to look at those things, because hell, they're already trying to drive us crazy anyway. And it just may be better if we listen. You know what? I was in a hostage situation as a kid. I did watch a lot of craziness. Thank you. I did watch a lot of craziness growing up. I did have a parent that was like Marianne just said, just in total denial. I told my mother, Marianne, I'm gonna share this with you because this is real crazy. My mother and them used to get together, and this is the kind of stuff that, like I said, they were young. And listen, they used to get together, her and her sisters, and they thought this was really a game. that they used to have all the girls get around and let us see how we were developing. I know y'all, it's just really weird. I'm gonna share this with y'all because I don't give a damn. I'm way past it now. So I try to tell my mother that I never liked it then, and I didn't like. So my mother and they didn't drink, they didn't do that kind of stuff. They found other kind of ways to entertain themselves, which was real messed up, crazy type of stuff. Stuff that if it was done today, it would be abusive. And I'm gonna tell you just how crazy abuse can be, and how some people we've been conditioned to be one with it in our families. Because of course you don't want to say nothing bad about your mom or your dad, right? So what happens is I told her, I said, you know, I really hated when we were small, and you used to make us, all my cousins and all of us girls, you know, get to showing each other, you know, showing you got ladies ourselves. You know, like, do we have bumps on our chests or whatever? Are we starting to develop? I said, and when you look at it, that's kind of abusive. And I said, you know, that's very abusive. And in fact, if you was to do that today, you'd probably be in jail. And I said it without any malice. You know, I just wanted to get it out because it had bothered me. And I had been a fully grown person when I told my mother. I might have been in my 40s. She totally denied it. She totally got angry about it and said, I never did anything like that. I wouldn't dare do anything like that. That's abusive. And that is, oh God, it's horrible. And here's what I said. She said, but after a while, then she goes, well, my mother used to dip snuff and she used to spit it on us. I don't know if a lot of y'all know what dipping snuff is, but can y'all tell me if you do? Anybody know what dipping snuff? No, it's what the baseball players do. They have tobacco in their mouth and they spit. Oh my God, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm dating myself, but I'm telling you, this is what my mom told me. And I'm like, what the hell? What does that have to do with me? And I'm saying, and furthermore, if she did that to you and you didn't like it, that should further let you know that you probably did that to me. And I didn't like it either. It's what you call abuse, mother. And I didn't appreciate it then, and I don't appreciate it now. And I said, it's really bothering me, the fact that you won't even admit that you did it. And I left it alone. Okay, because there's one thing you don't want to do is years ago, and the person won't admit it, right? And that's usually what happens. It's so dark and so psychotic. They don't want to admit it, just like the guys don't. They don't want to admit how low down it is to have babies everywhere. It don't make you cool. They don't want to admit that. So they rather act like we the problem. It's with anybody when you're in denial. It's the same thing. But if I still contend that if my mother would have looked at it and just at least took a different approach to it, we didn't have that standoff about that conversation, because it was because of that made me say, there's nothing I want to talk to you about anything, because you're not ready to handle anything that you possibly could have did that was remotely wrong. Right? Okay. Well, y'all, I see that I'm gonna go here. We starting to shut down a little bit, and I want to do this again. I really, because I really appreciate y'all participating. Marion, Queen, you know I've been waiting to do this so long, and I was thinking about you too not too long ago. Going, listen, I want to hit you up and let you know I'm gonna start going live a little bit more, and because I got this thing set up now. I'm so glad to see y'all out here. I really appreciate you participating, and you made some real good comments. And you are exactly right. A commitment is missing from a lot of our families, and that's what's missing from the male, female, the relationships. You know, commitment. If you're not committed, no matter what, no matter who it is, if it's a woman, if you would say, I don't care. If the commitment is not there, you might as well not even do it. And if your commitment is not there when you about to lay down with somebody and possibly you bring a child in the world, and if you know you don't have no commitment, then I suggest you make awful hard that this does not result in a baby, or you just don't do that at all. I think you go right back there and get that Vaseline and all that other stuff that you used to do back in the day and call it a night. Because at some point we have to get control of ourselves, and we have to understand that the children that we bring into this world have feelings and emotional uh, uh, needs, and they have um, mental, and it's you have being a parent is the most selfless job that you can possibly have. You don't get no rewards for it. You don't get no brownie points. You don't get no reward, none of that, no manuals. But you have to understand that it is the most important job you can do, because you are shaping minds. You are shaping people. You are bringing little people in the world. And nothing is more detrimental to a little person than to bring them into, like Queen said, a toxic environment. It's the truth. So I'm gonna go. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. I didn't think it would go this good. I really do appreciate you. Thank y'all. I'm gonna do this. I'm definitely gonna try to do it every Friday for sure. I can get another day in there and make sure his equipment is right. I'm gonna do it right, because I think there's a lot of things that we can get going with just sharing stuff with each other. And I appreciate y'all being out there. Okay. So with that being said, y'all go ahead and check out the other videos. Marianne, I thank you for being out there. Live fully. Thank you, Queen. Thank you for being out there, y'all. And participating. And as I say, in the next one. All right. Good night, people.